At any rate, there came the this patent, and Columbia was dying to get into the disc record business. And so they asked their lawyer, Philip Morrow, to figure out a way to attack the Berliner patent. And they suggested to Morrow, he did not suggest to them, that why don't we say that Emile Berliner's disc playback system infringes on our Bell Tainter floating stylus patent. And Morrow's investigated and told the bosses, it won't work. You will never get away with that in court. You will never be able to prove that the Berliner playback method infringes on the floating stylus. Don't do it. They said, it's all we have to hang our hat on. We are going to do it, and you will be our lawyer. And so they sued through a complicated method that I will not go into. They sued the Berliner Gramophone Company and got an injunction preventing the Berliner Gramophone Company from making records or gramophones. That was a real blow. That was terrible for us. At any rate, Grandpa was legally stopped from making discs and players. But they also sued Eldridge Johnson, who was manufacturing the gramophones for Grandpa, and they blocked him. This guy, brilliant guy, was able to extricate himself from the lawsuit that was against him and Emile, and he told Emile, look, you license me to manufacture discs and machines. When all is said and done and the trial is over, I will account to you for everything that I've sold. And the Berliner Gramophone Company readily agreed to this. An interesting aspect of it was, and this answers the question, the Berliner Gramophone Company immediately sued, that's right, I'm sorry, he did not get licensed. He said, you let me do it. I'm sorry, I misspoke. That was the point. They said, we'll let you do it, but we gotta sue you because you're infringing on the Berliner patents. So they trumped up a lawsuit by agreement with Johnson. Another trumped up case. At any rate, Grandpa eventually won the case, as you know, and Victor settled, or I should say Johnson settled, in a very conspicuous way. By the way, the court ruled that the system, why did the Berliner playback system differ from Columbia Graphophone's Bell Tainter system? It's because in the phonograph, the playback stylus is propelled by a feed screw. But in the disc system, the playback stylus is propelled by the groove. Big difference. And the court ruled there was no infringement, and Grandpa won the case, but they were broke. Johnson was thriving. He was doing great. Now it comes time for the reckoning. Well, the reckoning ended up that Johnson closed the Consolidated Talking Machine Company, which he had created to infringe on Berliner patents. And It went out of business, and a new company was formed, and of course, to commemorate the Berliner court victory, they named the company Victor Talking Machine Company. And that is how it got its name. If you've heard the stories of how Johnson named it after his bicycle, named the company after his right-hand man's wife, Victoria, wrong. It was named for the court victory, and I've got proof of that because when Eldridge Johnson retired in 1927, his son Fenimore took over. My father knew him very well, called him Fen, like all his friends did. And Fen personally told me, my father named the company Victor because it meant winner. And there you go. Anyway, getting down to the end here. Let's see, we got through the Herbert suing his brothers and sisters. And, oh, okay. When my father took control of the company and owned it, thanks to a gift from his father, he by then realized that the Berliner Gramophone Company should become part of Victor. And so he sold the Berliner Gramophone Company of Canada to the Victor Talking Machine Company,